Okay, here we go. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to our team call. It is, what day is it? May 1st. New month, new goals, clean slate. The thing that I love about the first of the month and hate at the same time is that all of a sudden every single person is at zero. Everyone's on a level playing field, and every single first day of the month, no matter how long I do this, I'm like, okay, here we go. Where am I going to find my people this month? Where are they at? And I hope that you guys understand that probably will never change. No matter how big you get, no matter how big your following is, no matter how many superstar, triple, quadruple, quintuple superstar you are, every single month you show up, you do the fundamentals, you're consistent, you get your crap done, and that's where the people come from. So we're all at zero. Well, hopefully, maybe we're not. I helped Amy today, so I'm at 2. Woo, woo. So the ball is rolling. So I want you guys to get if anything, I want you guys to just be super disciplined and intentional this month. And I talk about that all of the freaking time because it is how you will be successful. I don't want you to waste your time with this. I don't want you to spend time doing this and not with your family if it's not going to be beneficial, if it's not going to be worth your time. And it will only be worth your time when you're disciplined around the essentials, okay? So I love the past couple weeks, the National Wake Up Calls have been all about simplifying, uncomplicating, just do your stuff and hone in on those things. So that is my message for tonight. As we start this month off, well, hopefully you guys have big goals. And the way that you're going to accomplish those is just by doing the little things, okay? So without further ado, I want to intro Moira because I am so excited. She's speaking to us tonight. She's one of my favorite coaches ever. She's on the cab with me. She's one of the top leaders in the entire company. She's a superstar, diamond. How long have you been coaching again?
I started July of 2015.
July of 2015. So that is almost 3.5, almost 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. And she's absolutely, hold on, bud. Just figured this out. If you go to her Instagram, go out for a little bit. Babe, I need you to take him. Okay, tell me, hurry, fast. Favorite. Okay, go. Now I don't even remember what I was talking about. Rig, you're messing me up, bro. Okay, let me finish introing Moira because she's legit. So here's her stats, you guys, just so you know who you're dealing with. She's the mom and mom of 2. Not a wife of 2. She started coaching in July of 2015. She's a CAB member, 3-time elite. And you guys get this, it is May 1st, and she is already an elite coach this year. Okay, so she's already got all of her crap together. That is legit. There's only 6 or 7 right now. She's a Success Club 10 legend, former top 5 coach. She was number 5, was it 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. She's currently number 6. So it's not like she's just flying by. She's consistent. She's always in the top, at least 15, no matter what. And so she's got her crap figured out. So I want her to just share what's on her heart, and then she's going to talk a little bit at the end or whenever she wants to about, remember when I told you guys I got this and I'm obsessed with it? She's the creator of this bad boy. So she's going to talk to us a little bit about that too. So Moira, I'm going to turn over to you and mute myself because my house is crazy. Okay?
No problem. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so just honored to be on this call. I could say all those accolades about Micah, and she's one of my favorite coaches in the whole network. And that's I could count that on one hand, meaning the people that I truly, truly, truly admire. And when I was probably where you are just 2 or 3 years ago, I really looked at top coaches and picked the people that I wanted to follow in their footsteps. And Micah was one of 2 people that I was that's what I want to do. I don't want to recruit super high numbers. I, want to work with my people and develop leaders. And so you guys have a freaking rock star leader. You have no idea probably what you have. She's amazing. And there's so much I want to say, first of all, I want to know, what's your rank, you guys? So I kind of know who I'm talking to. I know you guys are probably all over the map from coaches to star diamonds, but drop in the chat whether you're coach, emerald diamond, star diamond, all that stuff. Just so that helps me. New coach, 5-star, awesome. Awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many freaking leaders on this team. That is amazing. Awesome. Well, and I'm sure that, Micah has talked to you about this because we do kind of build so similar. I mean, if I can please follow in Micah Folsom's footsteps, that's like my goal still to this day. I am behind her for sure. But one of the things that I think is so important to know is like, I've been hitting probably Success Club, I don't even know, 40 to 60, maybe a little bit higher towards 70 this year. I've never done that. I've never, ever, ever done that. I am like a Success Club 30 girl. And I love to share that, the year I was number 5, so not this past, I'm not a 2019 top 10, I was a 2018 top 5. And when I was number 5, when I stood on that stage at Summit, which we will talk a lot about vision tonight because I had envisioned that probably 1,000 times. And when I stood on that stage and they put everybody's accolades up on the big screen, and I think they put people's PS coaches, like all their names on the screen and like all their elite points and all this stuff. My team always loves to share with their coach prospects. Everybody had like pages that they were scanning through, every top 10 coach. And they're with me together rising, and it was like half a page. And I was like, yes, I was so freaking proud of that. Because when I looked back on my numbers for the year that I ended number 5, you guys, guess how many coaches I recruited? And I was doing a lot of discount coaches too. So I'm including discount coaches. I recruited on average 10 coaches every month, 10. But I worked with the people I brought on. So you don't need to recruit 50 coaches or hit Success Club 100 to have massive, like ridiculous top 10, top 5, 6-figure, 7-figure goals. You can do that managing a very normal, manageable amount of people. So just know that my vision from day one has always been to have a small but mighty team to, recruit those 10 coaches every month. And we all would love to recruit 10 people that actually build, but it's more like I find 10 people that want to build and maybe one does something. That's just the reality of this business. And you guys, I looked back when I got to that like number 5, or when I hit, I was number like 6 or 7 in the company less than 2 years in, not like technically, but like ranked, the ranks came out and I was number, I think 7. And I was less than 2 years in, and I was like, how did I do this? Like, I really like to look back and dig into how in the world did that happen? Because I love that Micah keeps saying, like, I've got my shit figured out. And I'm like, girlfriend, I do not have my shit figured out at all. I totally feel like a new coach every day. Same thing with Micah. Like, where the heck am I going to find these people this month? But I had a team call on Monday night, and I had a guest speaker. And it's so fun to sit back and listen to someone else and kind of like get like the 20,000 foot view of this business. And I'm like, oh my God, all you have to do in this business is, especially in the beginning, because like when you start to become a leader, you have to spend time leading. But in the beginning, it's like build your following as quick as you can every single day and invite like a boss and post on social media. I'm like sitting on my own team call going like, that's really it. That is really it. So why do we complicate it so much? And why do we always feel so overwhelmed and so paralyzed? And, it is that simple. It is post on social media, build your following as quickly as you can, and invite all your new followers and follow up with the old. That's it. And you will have massive success, but you got to be consistent. You got to do it every day. So I looked back at my own success and I was like, how did that happen? And why? I think the thing that I saw is, why did I have the drive to show up and do that like a boss every single day? And a lot of my coaches didn't, you know? And it all came down, you guys, when I looked back on this, I'm like, it all came down to vision. It all came down to belief. Obviously, doing personal development, getting through those self-limiting beliefs I had in the beginning that I couldn't do this because enter 1,000 reasons. You know, we all have the exact same reasons. I don't have the right personality. I don't know enough people. My husband doesn't support me. I don't have the perfect body. Like, they're all the freaking same. And you have the choice to get over it or not. You know, you're not any different than anyone else. Anyone can do this business. And so when I finally believed, really, really believed that, why not me? Why not me? I was no different than any of these girls that were talking on the National Wake Up Call. Then what I sat down and did was I created my vision. And I heard in training, in like new coach training, you know, what do we call it then? Coach Basics. I heard a lot of like your why in Coach Basics. And I've shared a lot about this, so you may have heard this before. But on my specific team, the girl that like did the video about your why, she was a multiple star diamond coach, and she was like, you know, my husband is overseas in the military and he's not seeing our daughter being raised. He's risking his life every day, and that's my why, and I want to bring him home. And I was like, holy crap. First of all, I understood why you needed a why. I was like, okay, I get it. The light bulb went off. When she told me that story, I was like, I understand how your why and understanding what that is gets you to show up and do the work every day. I will also tell you that my why was nothing like that. And of course I thought like, well, I don't have a husband in the military. I don't have this like dramatic why. I honestly wanted like a pool and vacation money. And I was like, is that going to get me to like show up every day? I felt really guilty, but I had to get past that limiting belief. But I wrote out, and I answered one question. I answered, well, two questions. If I had all the time and the money, if I had all the time in the world and all the money in the world, what would I do with my life? And you guys, the opportunity was real. It wasn't, if I win the lottery, what would we do? It was like, I am sitting here with an opportunity in my hands to create all the freedom that I've ever wanted in a really short amount of time. Because people have done this, Micah and myself are two of the people that have created wealth in a few short years. And that opportunity is right in front of you. And I understood that I was holding that opportunity in my hands. And if I was one of these girls that had, you know, massive success, I started to ask myself like, well, wait, would we even live here? Because it's never been an option to live anywhere else because my husband has a business in Charleston. Like, that's never been a consideration. It's never been a consideration to really travel. It's never been a consideration to spend our summers somewhere else. It's never been a consideration to send my kids to a certain school. It's never like so much was never a consideration because the income and the money was never there and the time freedom was never there. And so I started to really dream big. Like, what would I do? What would my life look like? How would I spend my days? And so I just started to write, you guys, don't overcomplicate this. It literally is answering the question, if you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? What would your life look like? What would your house look like? How would you give back to your community? You know, what would the team, I wrote about the team that I was building with women that I didn't have one coach signed up yet. I mean, I was coach status when I wrote out this vision. And I will say goals and vision, goals are in your vision. You know, goals are, that's kind of an easy place to start. My very first vision that I wrote that night when I was a brand new coach, not even Emerald, I wrote, I'm a 2018 top 10 coach. 2018 superstar top 10 coach. I didn't even know what superstar was at the time. I had no idea. And I wrote about speaking on stage at Summit because I'd seen some video of Carl talking to some coaches at Summit on the stage. And the funny thing is, and this is the power of vision, and this isn't just like, oh my God, that's so cool. This is the real power of vision. What I wrote in that sentence was speaking on stage at Summit or being interviewed on stage at Summit by Carl Zeichler. And then in parentheses, I wrote on a panel, because I'd seen some random video of coaches on panel. 6 months later, I read that vision every single day. Every single day. I still read it every single day. 6 months later, Jeff Hill called me and said, we'd like for you to speak on stage in the Superdome at Summit on a coach panel. Can you do that? And I was like, what is my life right now? What is happening? The power of your vision is, it doesn't matter what it is, you guys, it has to speak to you. So when I talk about the relationship I have with my husband, when I talk about the time that I get to spend with my kids, the beach house that speaks to my soul, and that beach house that like is filled with family and friends and my team that I've built, that speaks to my heart. And every single morning when I read that before I press play, and then I get my kids off to school, when I drop them off and I walk through that door again, I sit down and I freaking hustle. And what it was at first was my vision was about me. It was about the body that I was going to have. I mean, don't think things are too frivolous to write in your vision. It was about the body that I was going to have, because you guys, I was trapped for 20 years in an eating disorder and just screwed up head with my body and my relationship with food. So in my vision, I had freedom. And that was really, really important to me. And I wanted the money to travel. I wanted the freedom for our family. What I now know is that so much of my vision is other people. So much of my vision is the lives that I haven't yet reached. The women's lives that I'm going to somehow come into contact with, and they're going to be a coach on my team, and they're going to be one of the coaches like I have now that sits around a dinner table and literally just has tears streaming down their face because this coaching opportunity has changed their life so much. And thank you, Moira, for being brave enough to post on social media. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for following up. Thank you for reaching out, because my husband got his wife back, and we are a family, and we wouldn't be if it wasn't for this. And those are the kind of things that like keep me going. And one of my coaches in my downline asked me like a year ago, she's not my PS coach, she just reached out to me and she said, I need to ask you a question. She was a diamond or 1 star at this point, and she was doing really well, but she was starting to like fade out. You know, the drive wasn't there anymore. And she said, how in the world, Moira, do you stay so fired up every single day? Like you are just like fired up, not every single day, but for the most part, I'm fired up for this business. And I had to sit back and I was like, that's a really good question, because I see people fizzle out all the time. Why do I stay so fired up? And I got really clear. I knew it was vision. I knew my morning process and my habits that I had implemented because of this opportunity. They were rock solid and they do not waver. If I go literally 2 or 3 days without like a morning process, gratitude, writing in my book of wins, I have no freaking desire to do this business. I'm just like sitting there scrolling, like flat emotions, can't come up with anything to post on social media. My coaches are reaching out and I'm like irritated. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I got to get back to crushing my workouts, feeding myself properly, and not going off track with my nutrition, because we all know, you guys, the solution to your business is taking care of yourself. The solution to your business is not your business. We can sit here and talk strategy all freaking day. The strategy is simple, really, really simple. So it's not, if you're sitting here stuck, it's not your business. You are the problem. It is your personal journey. You've got to bring the fire back to your own personal life, and it will bleed into your business. I hope that's not my kids like knocking on the door. No, I don't think so. So when this coach, the Star Diamond, asked me, how do you stay so fired up? I knew it was vision. I knew it was my morning process, my morning routine. But I also realized it was one other really important thing. I hit the highest Success Club points on my team. I recruit the most coaches. You guys, I told you in the beginning of this call, for 10 women that come to me every month that are like, I want to do this. I have big dreams and a vision, and I'm a hard worker. I'm like, awesome, let's run. One will do anything. One will do anything. So if I wasn't recruiting at least 10 and I was recruiting 6 or 7, That means 0 do anything. And that just sucks when you're mentoring no one. It's like having a challenge group and no one shows up. You guys know what it's like for challengers. You recruit several challengers. We're lucky if 1 or 2 like actually do the work. And when they message you and they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. I feel amazing. This is life-changing. You're so awesome. That gives you the fire. But if you're not hitting high enough numbers to get some wins out of your challenge group and some wins from your mentorship, your coaches, then this is gonna kind of suck. Part of this is a numbers game. And then knowing the numbers helps you. I'm like seeing all these visions pop up in this chat. It's really hard for me not to read your visions because I love vision. But knowing the numbers divorces you from the emotional highs and lows. You know, when my coaches are like, oh my God, Moira, I can't, like, you know, I always tell them, our percentages are the same. I am getting the same percentage of people on board. I'm just talking to more people. So you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a failure. It's not that you're not cut out for this business. I'm just talking to more people. You know, if I recruited 10 coaches and one of them got into Success Club and you're recruiting 5 and you think you're horrible because none of them are getting into Success Club, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. You just need to recruit more coaches to find the one. That's the only difference. And so you've got to get good at the things that you're not good at. You've got to spend time, instead of reading like Girl Wash Your Face because it makes you feel good, you got to read things or study things that are going to make you better at the things that you're not good at. You know, you've got to get uncomfortable. And I will tell you that that vision in the morning pushes me like nothing else. And I have to change it and I have to update it and I have to tweak it, because when it starts to fall flat and I'm like reading my vision in the morning and it's just not speaking to my heart, then it's time to update it. I actually literally felt that in the last couple of days. And so let me just flip back to the front of my Rise Up planner. My vision that I'm reading this month starts with, you guys are probably gonna laugh and think I'm totally corny, but where's my vision? It starts with May 2019, everything changed. It was kind of the perfect storm in lots of good ways. Guess what else is gonna happen? There's a whole paragraph. And like reading that really gets me excited about the magical unicorn that I'm gonna recruit in May, right? But it gets me thinking and looking, and the people that are talking to me, I'm like, maybe they're the unicorn. Maybe they're the one that completely changes my business. Maybe they're my new coach that goes from coach to 7-star in this year. So it's filled with stuff like that. It's talking about, you know, what I'm sharing on social media and how much traction I'm getting this month. That May is just the freaking month that everything changed. And you guys, not that much has to change. I could just sit back and post if I wanted to and just work with the coaches that are in my downline and build volume and income. But that's not fun for me. I mean, that's really fun for me, I should say. I love that, and life would be easier, but I like to have my back up against the wall. I like to feel the pressure a little bit, because that's why I'm not at a 9-to-5 desk job. So you have to dig into your vision. This, you know, when I created this book because I had my team. And, you know, again, I got to number 5 in the company because we built leaders, not because I was a Success Club 200 person, not because I was recruiting 40 coaches a month. I got to number 5 because I had lots of Star Diamonds copied. So how did that happen? I'll tell you, the tools that they were doing are all in this book. I had them reading their vision every single morning. I had them reverse engineering their goals. I had them tracking their business. I had them tracking very specific things. And at the end of their day, this is like a non-negotiable. If you are a coach in my downline and you're like, I'm struggling, the first thing I'm going to say is, are you reading your vision, and are you writing in your book of wins? And so what's your book of wins? To me, these are the bookends of your day. You read your vision in the morning, it fires you up and you crush it all day long because you have something right in the forefront of your mind that's pushing you. The book of wins is, what were your wins today? How easily we can forget this. Like, I was literally just thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to write this down. I was just talking to a brand new coach last night who like wanted to talk on the phone, and she doesn't have Success Club points, and like, who knows if this random chick's gonna do anything right. And I'm like, oh, I'll always do the slight edge. If you haven't read The Slight Edge, most of you probably have. I will always do that little 2% more. And I was like, Moira, just pick up the freaking phone at 9 o'clock at night when you're literally snuggled in bed with your children and the phone rings. And I'm like, I gotta go take this phone call. So I walk outside and she's just like, hey. And I'm like, hey girl. And then she starts to go on and on about this corporation she works for. And she's like, well, I've got like 50 people and I'm thinking we could just do Beachbody with all of them. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. You might be a brand new coach that like hit Success Club 100 in your first month. Like, what is that? What is this? That is a major win. But so are the small snippets of the person that messaged me on social media that I've been talking to for 3 years that hasn't signed up as a challenger yet. That's just inspired by what I shared, you know, and there are always wins in your day, every single day of your life. And we're not just talking business wins, because your vision, basically your book of wins is, how is your vision coming to life? How is that showing up that it's actually happening? And my coaches will come to me sometimes and they're like, so what about the days where I don't have any wins? And I'm like, oh, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Because did you have quality time with your kids? Did you, crush your workout? Did you eat right today? Like, there are always wins. Did you find a quarter on the side of the road? That is abundance showing up in your freaking life. And you are focused on the lack. You are focused on what is going wrong. And whatever you are focusing on is going to grow. That is what you're going to feel, and that is what you're going to attract back. And I always tell my team, I'm like, you guys, you're not going to get what you want in this business. You can want diamond. You can want elite. You can want whatever. You're going to get what you believe. What you believe is going to happen. And when you write down your book of wins and you see proof every single day that you are winning, no matter what goes wrong, because we will have 1,000 things go wrong every single day too. But when you focus on the wins, you start to build and you see right in front of you what's actually going on, the wins, and you start to believe that this is possible for you. And the power of belief is everything. You guys, the year I was top 10, I 100%, I just believed it. Like, believed it on this fundamental level, like, we're going to be a top 10 team. Like, and I just had that belief that I breathed into my team. I was like, you guys, holy crap, we're like this baby little team and we're going to be top 10. I believed it. I wanted it and I believed it. Guess what happened last year? Doubt started to creep in. The beginning of the year rolled around and I was like, oh God, I don't know. I think the competition's too steep this year. I just don't know if we can do it again. I don't think I have the leaders. My team's not really doing what I want them to do. I can't seem to hit high success club points. I'm not really recruiting what I need to recruit. Focus on every single negative thing. And then I didn't end up top 10. It's the power of belief. And I will tell you, this one exercise in the front of Rise Up that says contrast and clarity was born out of, and I'll tell you this quick little story. So the beginning of last year, 2018, all of a sudden I was number 5. It was announced. It was amazing. It happened. We did it. I was freaking top 10. And I will tell you and be honest with you, a huge part of the push for me for top 10 was my belief in if I can become a top 10 coach, this might get a little easier because people will actually come to me. I hate to break it to you, but that didn't happen. People never come to me. People never randomly seek me out, ever. And so what I thought was going to happen, I thought this was going to get easier, and I thought the tides would turn and people would start coming to me. It didn't happen. And mid-February, as the number 5 coach in the company, I had 4 Success Club points mid-February and 0 recruits. And that downward spiral took me down really fast, because all I could focus on was how bad I was, how I didn't even feel worthy of being a top 10 coach, how I couldn't do this. I couldn't recruit. My coaches sucked. I was irritated with my whole team, just lack. And nothing turned around until I got really conscious and really started to focus on literally flipping the script of every negative belief that was in my head. You know, I was like, this sucks. I can't even recruit challengers. And so I started to say, I love how it feels when I hit higher success club points, because that's a truth. That's a truth I can believe. I love how it feels when I hit higher success club points. And it was like a mantra. I literally said it all day long. I love how it feels when I hit high success club points. I love how it feels when I can recruit a lot of coaches. I love having new coaches come on my team and kick ass. And I started the book of wins. And I started to focus on the tiniest little wins in my team, in my own personal business, in my own personal life. And what happened is on the days that got hard and that self-doubt started to creep back in, you guys, you will literally have a book of proof. That's what we always called it on my team. You will have a book of proof. And what I will tell you is, even just a month or so ago, I was having one of those days. I mean, little side tangent, and Micah can tell you this too. You know, when our coaches come to us and they're like, oh my God, I'm only at like SC8, and I look at the SC board and everyone's crushing it. And I'm like, oh, so you're less than. Guess what? Everybody I chat with every day is at SC like 175. Get over it. Like, get over it. No matter how high you get in this business, somebody will be doing better. And what a blessing to be surrounded by people that are doing better than you. Like, you don't want to be the top coach. You want to be surrounded by people that are doing better, that make you level up. But a month ago, when I was like having a day where top 10 was going to happen this year, Bora is not happening, like I thought we had it, and like no one's doing anything this year. I'm not going to no star diamonds like even care. Like my star diamonds that were going to go from 1 to 5 are like, yeah, I don't really think I want to do coaching anymore. I'm like, all I did was I flipped back, because I got this in the beginning of December, and I flipped back to the very first page of my book of proof, which is December 2nd. And I just read it like it was a book, like it was a novel. And I had 3-4 months of pages. And you guys, by the time I got through 1.5 pages of about 20, I literally was like, I don't know who Ashley Milstead thinks she is, but I'm gonna be freaking number 1. Like, look at this. This is insanity. Like, this is freaking bananas. Like, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I forgot about all the things and all the ways that this team is freaking rock solid crushing it. And how do you think your conversations go with your coaches when you feel that way? Way different than when you think they suck. Way different. I'm telling you, you guys, 2 things. Vision, read it every day, book of wins, book of proof, whatever you want to call it. If you do those 2 things every single day, your entire life will change, not just your business. I've actually started to keep a book of wins on my relationship, my marriage. I was talking to a friend, she's like, you know that book of wins you always talk about? Why don't you start doing that with Brian? I was like, that's a really good idea, because I need to focus on the amazing man that he is and not nitpick like we all do if you're married. You know what I mean? It's like what we focus on grows. What we focus on is what we see, but we can choose to focus. And I've always used Brian as that example, meaning like Brian doesn't change. He's the same person that I married 15 years ago. Why is it that on some days, I swear to God, like we're just not going to be married, and divorce is absolutely like, there's just not, I cannot stay married to this man. We are getting divorced. And then literally 2 weeks later, I'm like, I just don't even know how I got so lucky. Like, there are not enough days in my life to spend with this man. He has not changed. What I am focusing on has changed. So you guys, that is everything. And you know, that's the feel-good part of this business. Not the feel-good, it's kind of the inside part of this business, but you have to have that. You have to have that in place. And I think the flip side of like why this was created is, you know, my coaches were doing their vision. They were doing their book of proof. They had their planner. They were mastering their time. They were time blocking and all of that. Like, there's got to be equal parts like business strategy and the vision and the book of wins and the personal development and all of that. But you can't just have one or the other. You have to have both. And so I love kind of doing this quick little spiel, because part of the exercises in the front of this, who has this book, you guys? How many of you guys have it? So I remember talking to Melanie Mitchell, I was on her podcast about it, and she's like, so I just flipped it open because I like to take action. And she's like, and I just tried to start using it. I was like, yeah, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to go through like the workbook part of it, the first 20 pages, or the planner like absolutely won't even make sense. You got to go through the first part. So part of that is reverse engineering your goals. And it's something I love to kind of teach on, because again, it's a numbers thing. And this might be a hard pill to swallow, but a couple things, talking about numbers. Well, let's just go through this. Like, I had my diamond retreat in the very beginning of January. We had 50 entire downline, 50 women that had earned the diamond retreat. So I'm sitting in a living room, kind of presenting, doing a talk on, somebody said, Moira, can you like help us on this reverse engineering? Like, it sounds so difficult. And I was like, oh my God, it's the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, let's do it. So I was talking to them about reverse engineering. They were all new diamonds, and they all were 100% going to be elite this year, right? That's like every new diamond's goal. Like, oh, I'm going for elite. And I'm like, awesome. Let's reverse engineer that. You need, first of all, you absolutely need 100 coaches to be an elite coach. You need to recruit, I think every 20 people you recruit, you'll find a diamond. And again, you guys, that's like daunting, but if you know the numbers, then you know that it's not that you suck because you recruited 30 and you didn't get to 5-star. You're like, oh, I have to recruit 100. I have to sign up 100 coaches to find 5 diamonds. That is a tough pill to swallow, but that is reality. And it'll keep you from feeling like you're a failure and then quitting the business if you just understand the numbers. But let's reverse engineer elite. So it is so simple to reverse engineer business goals because they're numbers. So you need to be 5-star by the end of the year. Yes, you need a lot of complicated elite points, but the hardest part is usually 5 diamonds. So you need to, let's cut the year in half, right? That's Summit, which is also really cool and easy. Summit, 6 months through the year, really 7. You need to be 2 to 3-star. You need to be half of your goal halfway through the year. Make sense? Right? Does that make sense? All right, so you need to be 2 to 3-star at Summit. And then Beachbody has this amazing thing called 6 weeks of qual. So we have to take that July 31st date and backtrack it. Actually, June would be 6 months, yes. June 30th date and backtrack that 6 weeks, right? So that would be mid-May. Welcome to mid-May, which is 2 weeks from now. So if you want to be elite by the end of the year, to know that you're actually like confidently on track for that, you need to be going into 2 to 3-star qual in 2 weeks. And that is tough if you have a goal of being elite this year and you're nowhere near it. But you guys, what you can do right now is you can go, Micah, we just got off the call. I realize I'm totally off track. And if I keep doing what I've done for the last 4 months, I'm not going to be elite. So I need to re-strategize. I need to do things differently. I need to up the bar. I need to up my goals. I need to hit higher success club points. I need to recruit more coaches. You can change the course right now to get on course for elite. But if you don't, what's going to happen is it's going to be November and you're going to be crushed. You're going to be devastated because you worked all year to elite and you failed. You don't have to fail, you guys. You can fix it now. And so reverse engineering business goals is that simple. You know, if this was January, I would say, all right, you got to be 2 to 3-star by Summit, reverse engineer that by mid-May. So you got to go to 2 to 3-star qual by mid-May. So let's cut that in half and go March. March would be 1/4 way through the year, March 31st. If you reverse engineer March back 6 weeks, that's mid-February. So you should probably be going into 1-star qual in mid-February. And all my coaches at that diamond retreat were like, what? I need to go into 1-star qual in 6 weeks. I was like, yeah. And that changes what you're doing. It changes what you're doing when you're sitting in front of your computer every day. And what I love to do, so I want to do this. Will you guys drop your Success Club goal for the month of May in the chat? What is your Success Club goal for the month of May? And I literally, thank you, Micah, for talking about that, because I was like, oh, I have not put my goals on my team page. 16, 50, 30, 20, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna just pick one. How about Erin Decker? Okay, Erin Decker, you are the lucky contestant tonight. 20, right? So I always talk to my team about this. I'll probably pop in there tomorrow and talk to them about reverse engineering this monthly goal. So everybody in my team page puts up like a little word swag thing and says like, these are my goals for the month. I want to recruit, 5 coaches. I want to hit SC20, whatever it is. And then they just don't get anywhere close. And then it's June and they do the same thing. And then nobody gets anywhere close. And then it's July and it's just like insanity, right? Like doing the same thing and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So, Erin, where are you? Are you on here? I don't see you on my screen. There you are. Oh, is your little girl okay? Did she lose a tooth or get a bloody nose? I just saw that happen.
Yes, her brother kicked her in the mouth, and at least baby teeth.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, sweet girl. I saw that going down. It was very like mother hen, like, oh my God, what's happening? Okay, Erin, what have you hit Success Club points January, February, March, April? What did it look like?
10, 10, 6, 6.
Okay. You're like the prime example. This is great. And congratulations on hitting Success Club every month. That's awesome. So one thing is you've got to track your invites. And I'm not speaking to you specifically, but you have to track the number of invites you put out. Because what happens, this is like what I realized, honestly, the first year or two I was coaching, my coaches would come to me and they're like, Moira, I just want to get to SC10. I've hit Success Club 5 for the last 10 months and I can't seem to get to 10. And this is as simple as this business is. I'm like, well, how many invites are you sending out? And they don't know. And I'm like, well, if you knew the number of invites, all you got to do is double it. Like, you don't need a mentor. You don't need a training. You don't need a diamond dash. Like, if you want to double your Success Club points, you double the output. You double your number of invites. And so it's that simple. And if you go like, holy crap, I need to invite 500 people, divide that by 30, that's reverse engineering. Divide it by 30 and invite that many every day. So, but the thing about your Success Club goal, I like to kind of light the fire under my own behind. And I don't give myself all month to hit Success Club. I always say we always like to say SC10 by the 10th on our team, but mine's usually SC whatever by, the 10th. But just for simplicity's sake, this is what I'm going to actually pull out my calendar so we can all look at this together. So you're lucky there's 5 weeks in May. There's usually not. So we'll do this. There's usually 4 weeks, which makes this exercise a lot easier. There's 5 weeks though. So if you want to be on track, and now this isn't necessarily the right thing if like your challenge group starts, let's just use this for simplicity's sake. Say your challenge group, Erin, is starting the 27th. So there are really 4 weeks before that, right? And all you did was took your monthly goal and divided it by 4. That means by this Sunday, you've got to be at Success Club 5. All of a sudden, that simply, your goal of hitting SC20 by the end of the month, when you sit down at your computer tomorrow and you're like, I want to hit SC20, and you invite, you post, you do some follow-ups, like it's just kind of like this blase, like power hour or whatever you do. It's very different when you're like, I've got to be at SC5 by Sunday. I have to hit Success Club by Sunday. If I want to be at SC20 this month, I have to hit Success Club by Sunday. All of a sudden, every conversation is different. And all of a sudden, everything you're posting on social media is different. Every follow-up is different. And this is you've got to have weekly goals, not monthly goals. Have your monthly goal, divide it by 4. I was on my way to Ashley Smith's retreat, I think in January, and I had really hustled in January. I'd hit really high Success Club points, which was huge for me because I'm not a high Success Club point earner. And it was a Friday. I was so excited to like unplug and get in the car. My husband was driving. It's like a 4-hour drive and really pretty country. And I got in the car, I had my coffee, and I was working. I was like, basically I was responding to messages. That's what I was doing. and scrolling social. And I literally looked over because in this planner, your week at a glance, which is basically where you live, has your weekly goals. So this is my week that I'm looking at, every 25 million times a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it has a place for my weekly goal. And Sunday night, I had posted what my weekly goal was. It was the last week of the month. And I had told my team that I was going to be at SC 60. And I was at SC 52. And an hour and a half had gone on working. I hadn't done anything really. And I saw that and I was like, and I turned and I asked my husband, I said, what's our ETA? Like, how long till we get there? And he said, we'll be there in 2.5 hours. And all of a sudden, I had to sell 4 challenge packs by the time I got out of the car. I did not want to work when I was at that retreat. I couldn't really. I wanted to spend time with my husband. I wanted to unplug. All of a sudden, in 2.5 hours, everything was different. I was putting up a post on social media and I was like, this post is going to be different. And I'm immediately responding to every single person that likes it. I am responding with energy. I am responding with urgency. I'm, talking about like, you got to get in by today. We got to lock it in. And part of my conversation was very real. Like, I am getting ready to unplug and be at this retreat all weekend. I won't be able to get back to you until Monday. So we got to like make this happen now. Let's do it. Instead of like, okay, girl, let me know. And I sold 4 challenge packs by the time I got out of the car in 2.5 hours because I had a very specific goal that I needed to hit. It wasn't 3 or 4 weeks out. So, and I was actually talking to Melanie about this, and she's very, competitive. And she was like, oh my God, she's like, I have my weekly goal. And so say hers was SC 10 or whatever by this Sunday. If she woke up on Monday and was at SC 8, she's like, oh, it's like the end of the world. And she's like, I just like double down on my invites, double down on everything. She's like, because then I got to play catch up because I got to stay on track for the whole month. You've got to play these little games with yourself. I always set a timer when I send invites. I literally just use tick marks and I'm like, invite, tick mark, invite, tick mark, invite, tick mark. And those little tick marks seem so silly, but you guys, every single day that I do it, I look at my tick marks and I'm like, that is not possible. I've invited like 40 people and it says 12. That's the difference between tracking the number of invites you're actually putting out. Every single day. I'm like, and I'll scroll back on the messages and count them again because I'm like, I swear I must have not written down the tick marks. Because I know I've sent more than that. And I'm like, no, Moira, you've actually only sent 12. Because squirrel, you got distracted. You've got to track what you're doing. If you're just sitting down and like playing whack-a-mole all day, you're not showing up as a CEO for your business. You have to show up. And the other thing that this book takes you through is like time blocking, and that sounds really not fun, but it is. Because when I walk in the door after I've dropped my kids off, I know what 5 things I'm doing between 8 and 9:30. I know what 5 things have to get done and checked off my list between 8 and 9:30. I know that from 9:30 to 10:30, I'm doing a power hour. And within that power hour, I know exactly what's happening. From 10:30 to 11, I know what's happening. From 11 to 12, I know what's happening. From 12 to 1, I know what's happening. So I'm not allowing myself to just like react to my business. I am in control of my business. And I am really, really efficient. And the irony of like, people are like, whoa, that's really type A. And I'm like, no, yes, it is. But the beauty of it is, and I always use this example, if you guys said to yourself, this is like blocking out your time and just managing your time smart. If you literally said to yourself, I will not respond to a Facebook message or an Instagram message, never, ever, except between 8 and 8:30 in the morning and 9 and 9:30 at night. I mean, God, guys, can you just imagine how amazing that would be? So you're not completely distracted around your family. You're not completely distracted from your team. You're not completely distracted from what you need to be doing because you have time slotted. So every single time that messenger dings, you're not, doing 5 things at once. You're actually like, I've got time set aside for that. I'll get to that later. So that's what my day looks like. Every single thing that I'm doing, I'm very focused and very present because something else isn't stressing me out, because there's a time that I'm doing that. There's a time that I'm attending to that. So you've got to get smart with your time. I know it's 9:52. I hope this was an hour call, Micah. I know that was like all over the place, and I want to leave a little bit of time for questions. It's all over the place, but it's all necessary. It's like just getting the pieces of the puzzle. And that's why this was written, you guys. And this isn't a pitch for this book. It is literally like, I drive around sometimes and I'm just like, oh my God, if people just did what was exactly in this book, that's all they need to do. That's all they need to do. It is literally the roadmap to success. And Mike and I both talk about this a lot. Like, it's not like picking up this book and like doing 60% of it. It's like, just do everything in this book, you guys, and you will build a multiple 6-figure business, 100% guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. It's that simple. It's the vision, it's the reverse engineering, it's the time blocking, it's the book of wins, it's tracking, it's all of it. And you've got to track your business. And one of the things that we have tracking in here is like, Coaches in Success Club. And I can tell you that's totally changed my business. Every single morning, one of the first things I do between that 8 and 9:30 window, because that's when I check into my back office, that's one of the 5 things I do. I cannot freaking wait to look at my sponsorship drill down to see who's gotten Success Club points on the board. And that is focusing on the wins right there. That's focusing on the growth. That's me messaging my coaches going like, oh my God, girl, you're only 1% away. Focus on the wins. So I want to open it up for questions since we only have a few minutes, or whatever you guys want to chit chat about.
Moira, I love you.
Aw, I love you too.
Do you guys have any specific questions? So good. Really, you guys, like, if you want simple, this basically simplifies it as much as you can simplify it.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved it. No questions, you guys? Come on. I know you got some.
Yeah, if you're a high success club point earner, I kind of do that little game with myself too, where I try to hit like whatever day it is. I actually try to be double that. So if it's like the 5th, I want to be at 10. If it's the 10th, I want to be at 20. And I can very easily go like, I'm slipping, that margin's getting bigger.
Love it. Okay, I saw a couple come through. What do your time blocks look like in your day?
Yeah, so, it totally depends on where you are in your business. But I mean, I started out by saying, like, when I was able to do this full time, I did not come into this being able to do this full time. I was, juggling another business and a family. But when I was able to transition to it full time, like my kids are in school from 8 to 2. So I've got 6 hours a day. And then at night I get on some team calls. But what that looks like for me is, let me actually give you like the detailed version of this. From 8 to 9:30, I'm like checking into my coaches. I'm looking at my back office. I'm checking into my pods or my message threads. Like, did I say checking into my back office? Posting on social media. So I intentionally also try to, because I'm one of those coaches that actually doesn't follow other coaches, and like I need to so I can learn. So I literally like track that I go and check in on certain people so I can learn from other coaches, So I do that. And then from 9:30 to 10:30, I'm doing my power hour. From 10:30 to 11, I usually try to just like take a breather, which means like respond to some messages, like B-list activities, because I actually need to breathe, because like from 8 to 10:30, it is like on. And I've actually been up since 5 doing my power hour, getting my kids to school, like not power hour, getting my workout in, morning process, all that. And then from 11 to 12, it might be the national wake up call. It might be a mastermind. But I really, generally speaking, try to leave my mornings. And I've gotten really actually kind of strict about this. My coaches are like, can we meet at 10? I'm like, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Mornings are mine. Mornings are for my business. And then from like 12 to 2, that's like slotted for like team stuff, like one-on-ones, pod calls, diamond push calls, diamond trainings, you know, New Coach University, whatever it is. That's kind of like where I spend my time with my team. So that's what it looks like. Yeah.
And then Madison asked, what did you ask again? Something about what did your business look like in the beginning? Like when you weren't doing it full-time?
Yeah. I think, and I do love to talk about this. It just, what it looked like was I was a coach for 3 months and like did nothing, and thought I was doing everything. And I just wasn't following direction. Like when I decided to work this business and like give it everything, what that looked like for me was I filled out the business activity tracker every single day. And the difference that I see in my coaches and what I look back and what I did, I filled out every single box every single day. And sometimes I went above and beyond. You know, like if it said like add 5 friends, I added 10. If it said invite 3 people, I invited 5. I always did that slight edge before I'd written the slight edge, but I just checked the box every single day. And I talked to a ton of people, and I did coach training, like New Coach University, or it's called Coach Basics then, like 4 times, because I was so busy talking to people and trying to figure out like, how do I sign this person up? What do I do? How do I coach them? That I had to keep putting training a little bit on the back burner. But what I realized is the beauty of like what we now tell our coaches is like, don't get caught in trainings. Like trainings are necessary. You will find the time. You will, if you're smart, I understood that I really needed to go back and like learn Coach Basics at some point and go through it again and again. And I started leading Coach Basics, so I got it on a deeper level. But I just talked to a shit ton of people. Like that's what it boils down to, you guys. Post on social media, get results, and talk to a ton of people, and you'll crush your business.
Amen. Amber asked, how much do you connect with someone before you invite them to something?
Yeah, so I freaking, like, we didn't have stories a few years ago, you know, and I really truly believe if you're up in my business, and you guys have probably been invited by me because so many coaches watch our stories, that I have, you know, it's no big deal for me to be like, girl, you should totally jump into my boot camp. That's totally normal. You know what I'm talking about when I talk about my boot camp. You know my dog's name. You know my children. Like, you know me if you're watching my stories. So I've also always been a little bit erring on the side of like, I don't want to be the person I do form people and I like their pictures and stuff like that. But I don't want to be the creepy girl that's like, oh my God, I love your hair. What kind of, you know, like, I just do it if it's normal. Like if I actually like your hair or I'm wondering what kind of dog you have, I will absolutely have a lot of those conversations. But I am not afraid to be like, oh my God, girl, why are you not coaching? Why aren't you doing what I'm doing? Or, you know, like cut to the chase. And then here's the important part with that though. I don't only cut to the chase and then never talk to them again. I continue to have a relationship. But I would rather be the person that they're like, oh God, no, don't try to sign me up for your thing. And then they're like, well, actually this girl's real. She's like, we're like now having a regular relationship. Maybe that thing she asked me about isn't so weird. I would rather be that girl than like do the whole like sneaky forming thing, you know, and then like slide it in. That's just me. Have you guys ever read, this is a huge tip I can give you. One of the best things that I did as a new coach, and it's not ever talked about anymore. Have you ever read First Steps to Wealth, Micah? Oh my God, you have to read it. So I was a new coach and Danny Johnson was like a little bit more popular back then. And I got this book. I was so anti-network marketing, you guys, like so anti-network marketing. And I got this book that was recommended, First Steps to Wealth. I literally got it and I was like, oh my God, that's the cheesiest pyramid scheme looking book I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to read it. I can't even open it. It had like a really cheesy, like kind of 80s cover on it. I finally picked it up, and I'm telling you, that book taught me everything about how to build this business. And it's a really amazing like page turner because it's her story and she's like total rags to riches girl. It is one of the first books I always tell my new coaches to get. So First Steps to Wealth. It's just fun to find a book that like not every single human on the planet is reading. Amazing, amazing book. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else, guys? We're almost done. Moira, thank you so much, for real. I'm gonna just sit back and listen to you all night.
Oh my God, I feel the same way about you.
Nothing. Everyone's just fangirling.
You guys, I really want you to understand that like that is just like so weird to hear because like I know this is so annoying because I used to hear it all the time, like, I'm just like you, but we are literally just like you. Like there is no difference at all. And I remember hearing in the beginning too, somebody say, the only difference between you and me is time. And there was a really poignant moment from my elite coach, Erin Hopkins, where like she'd heard me say that. And I brought her to her first elite party in, where were we before Indy?
Was it Nashville?
No,
New Orleans.
That one. We were in New Orleans and I brought Erin. I don't know if you guys know Erin Hopkins. And she walked in with me and she's totally starstruck, you know, which is just funny. And she goes, Moira, every single person in this room makes 6 figures. And I was like, Erin, you will be making that this time next year. Like I've said it before, it's just time. And she was like, holy crap, I just got that on a whole new level. And I was like, yes, it's just time. It's just time.
Time actually doing your stuff.
Yeah, time actually doing your stuff. And you've got to pick those people out. Like Micah and I have talked income and real life stuff, you know, one-on-one. And I need to hear that for me because I'm like, okay, I want to get there. So that's gonna motivate me to keep showing up, you know?
Yeah, I think I love this so much. I think it's such an important aspect of what we do. I feel like there's so many hangups in this business with money and with income and with learning the comp plan. Because if you learn about how to make money, then you're not worried about the people anymore and it's money. And it's like, no, you only make money when you help people. So figure out the comp plan because the comp plan and the income side is what's going to bless your family's life. And that will only happen if you're blessing the lives of all of the other people. So it's like, it's so important. And you're not going to show up and work if you have no understanding of what you're working towards. Like you're just not. It's just not going to make sense to take time away from your family or time away from Netflix or time away from hobbies or whatever if you don't understand why you're doing it. So like that is like, I love that that's such a fundamental piece of this book because I feel like that's the thing that people skip. They're just like, oh yeah, I don't know. I just want to better my life and whatever. But like, no, it's got to be so clear.
Well, and it goes back to that belief because I can remember my first diamonds were still with me and some of them are like 1 stars and stuff. And they were like, Moira, I'm just not willing to like stay up as late. I need my sleep. And I remember like being like, as a leader, I should really like deliver this truth. And I said to them, I was like, I really like sleep too. Where is that echo coming from?
Here, I'll mute my.
I'm like, I can't hear myself. You know how you can't hear your own voice is terrible. But I told her, I was like, you know, the income gap is like this big right now. Like I was making $1,000 a month and she was making 400 or something. And I was like, but Maggie, like I know where I'm going and 2-3 years is going to go by no matter what. I'm going to sacrifice the sleep. I am going to sacrifice some with my family. I just knew that she was going to regret not sacrificing, you know? And in 3 years, it's like she's a $50,000 coach and I'm going to hopefully be a 7-figure coach this year. Like, that's insane. And I've said to so many people, like, I've literally built this instead of watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm building $1 million business in a ridiculously short amount of time. Like, it's crazy what we have right here, guys. It's crazy. But you've got to be smart, and you've got to just, like, not be smart intellectually. You've just got to be smart about this business and understand the potential that you have. And there's no reason you can't do what we've done. No reason.
100%. And I feel like the more that I see coaches either run with this and go all in and make it work or not, it's simply discipline. It's discipline around the essential things. It is really easy to get distracted. It's really easy to get caught up in things that don't actually move your business forward and think you're building your business or spending time doing this and then doubt that you can actually do it because it's not working, where you're just not doing the right things. You guys, if you hear anything, simplify your business, be intentional, be disciplined around the things that actually matter, and then unfreaking plug, and don't let the business run your life. You run your business, the business does not run you. And if you treat it that way, you will be able to make whatever you want out of this. You will be able to create the life you love, do what you want, with who you want, when you want. You guys, like, yeah. And the time is passing. Like she said, the time is passing. Whether you do it or don't, the time passes. It's just what you're going to do with it. So I'm getting the passion sweats, Melissa. Well, my coach, Melissa, always says she gets the passion sweats when she gets.
I love that. I definitely get the passion sweat.
All right. Well, we don't want to keep you. Thank you so much. I adore you. So appreciate you. And we'll be seeing you in, a couple months in Indy. Yes.
It'll be fun.
So excited. Well, thanks so much, Moira. We love you. You have like 1 million fans. If you guys do a story or anything, make sure you tag her and give her some love. All right?
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.